Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and I'm here today bringing you news from the frontier. Respawn just pushed out a brand new blog, which includes the patch notes for the upcoming LiveFire update and release. Now, let me make it very clear, guys, Respawn has been completely transparent and open with us on this one. They still do not have a release date for LiveFire. It is currently sitting in certification. Certification is a pretty archaic process, at least from what I've learned from developers over the years, that Sony and Microsoft still use. It's just, it has a bunch of arbitrary measures in it. They have to make sure that it's going to clear that before they can be confident in giving us a release date. So hold your horses, sit down, take a break from Titanfall 2 for a couple days, and Respawn will be back to us with a full date as soon as possible. They have, though, went ahead and given us the full patch notes, so we know exactly what's going to be launching alongside of LiveFire, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about new content or the new features or the game improvements. There's a lot of stuff in there. I'm going to highlight a few. Please check out the full patch notes if you're interested in seeing everything that's going along with LiveFire. There's a lot of stuff here. This is a huge patch. Today, though, we're going to focus primarily on the Titan balancing changes and the weapon balancing changes. Obviously, these are the two big ones that most of us are interested in. But let me go ahead and highlight some of the other stuff. We've got a whole slew of gamepad features, including custom button mapping for both Titans and pilots. We can now toggle crouch, toggle ADS, and we're going to be able to have the option to hold to use rodeo, which I'm very excited about. There's a bunch of other stuff in there. A lot of creature comforts. I think a lot of you guys are going to be really happy with the crouch toggle, especially those of you struggling to get your slide hop on. Mixtape, of course, coming into the play. Huge changes to the Holo Pilot to potentially make it a little more effective and also to adapt it to the upcoming LiveFire maps. There's so much stuff here. I could go on for days. The only other two really important things you need to know is that Ronin now shows his sword in the loadout menus because just hell yeah. And Prime Titans can now use nose arts. Yes, score. So excited about that. Thank you, Respawn, for going back and redoing that art so it fits on the new Prime Titan chassis. We all thank you for that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait. You know what, guys? There's one more I have to point out. They've increased the crit damage pilots deal to Reapers in multiplayer. Yeah, they've also reduced the area affected by nuclear ejection screen shake. And nuclear eject damage no longer fills your Titan meter. I bet you didn't see that one coming. Yeah, a lot of us really excited about that. I'm so happy about that. Honestly, guys, I don't really like nuclear ejection. And I think it's terrible that someone can bail on their Titan and then instantly get another one. So no more of that nonsense. Let's get into the actual Titan balance changes, starting with the big bad person in the house today, Tone. Tone is seeing reduced salvo core damage, but also removing the damage fall off from the salvo core rockets themselves. So a bit of a balancing act being played here, and I like the sound of this. Basically, you're able to reach out and hit people at a further range without having to compensate for damage fall off with Tone. But overall, the damage on the salvo core has been reduced. This makes me very excited. We're also seeing an increase in the cooldown of sonar pulse. The projectile size of the 40mm has been reduced. Thank you. I'm loving all these changes. I think this is exactly what Tone needed, or at least I hope this is what Tone needed. We'll have to see how it plays out once we get our hands on it. We've also got Tone burst loader improvements. So I think they're trying to buff up the burst loader a little bit, which I'm on board for. If we can bring that kit into the meta, I guess that'd be cool, give people an option. And then there's a bit of a psychological twist going on here. I talked about how the psychological element of patches and balancing games is very important. So they've got slight presentation tweaks, and they've also updated some audio cues for Tone. So very much looking at the psychological side of things there. Let's move on and take a look at Northstar. They've removed the damage fall off from flight core rockets. The idea here is to make her more consistent in dealing high damage. I completely agree, Respawn. We can finally sit back where we belong with Northstar and engage people at a distance with our flight core like it should be. Very happy about this. Northstar is also seeing increased dash regeneration rate, and so is Ronin. In fact, that's the only change that Ronin is getting. So both of our Strider chassis have just been made more survivable. Respawn, you're killing me. This is such a good patch note already. Alright, let's talk a little bit about Scorch, because this is where things get a bit weird. The only thing that's been done to Scorch is ADSing with his primary weapon will now display the projectile's path. This isn't going to do anything for Scorch on the high end. Most of us who play Scorch are already pretty good at that. This is definitely going to help new players or people who haven't really spent a lot of time with Scorch adapt to Scorch. This just isn't the changes I was expecting, but we have to remember that some of the other Titans have been brought down a little bit here, specifically Tone. Legion hasn't been messed with at all. Ion just has a bug fix for the Vortex Shield, which some of you probably knew about, and that is everything for Titan balancing. Probably not everything that you might have wanted, but I like what's going on here, and I think Respawn is following that mantra that many of us have spoken about, which is don't just go crazy and start nerfing everything, but just try and balance the playing field a little bit. So hopefully that's what happened, especially with those big changes to Northstar and to Tone. Let's take a look at weapon balancing. First on our list is the Deadly Devotion. They've now added very far damage settings and then reduced the weapon's damage at those distances. Thank you. They've also added more kick to the first shot to make using shingle shots more difficult. Wow, shingle shots more difficult? Can you say that 5 times fast? And they've also increased view kick during sustained fire to create a slightly larger spread. This is pretty much every problem I had with the Devotion was down to accuracy at extreme distances and the ability to maintain that accuracy while in full auto or in tap fire configuration. This should hopefully put the Devotion in a better position, but still leaving it effective on the battlefield as an LMG choice. The Archer Rocket has fixed homing speed, so it will once again track targets as expected. So apparently there was a bug there with homing speed. The Archer is going to be able to lock on more quickly, I guess? I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. Some weird things going on with the MGL here as well, guys. I think they're really trying to balance out the MGL and just bring it down just a notch. So they've reduced the projectile speed, but they've also went ahead and increased the fuse time. So at first when I read this, I was like, oh, we'll be able to shoot it farther because of increased fuse time, but then I remembered they slowed down the projectile speed. So we'll have to see how that kind of balance out. I think at the end of the day, they just wanted to give people inside of Titans more time to react to the MGL. Because right now you hear the MGL, and then you're in doom state. Like, it's just really effective, especially in close quarters. So maybe this will balance things out a little bit there. Once again, we're going to have to see how it all plays out. This is just me reading the patch notes, giving you guys my thoughts. Because hype, patch notes, why not? I'll be bringing you guys a full state of the game update once LiveFire is actually live and I've played it for a nice, good chunk of time. There's also a lot of miscellaneous bug fixes here, guys, across all the platforms, and PC has seen a huge slew of improvements for performance, adaptive super sampling, adaptive revolution targets, VRAM detection accuracy, SLI and crossfire compatibility, improved frame rate stutter detection tools. The list goes on and on and on. If you've been having issues with this game on any of the 3 platforms, PC specifically, please check out the full patch notes, see if your issue is here, and hopefully Respawn just made Titanfall 2 a lot more enjoyable for you to play. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of my week, and I hope you guys do the same. Thank you so much for watching. I'm also going to get back to working on that new closer. I'll see you in the next one.